Introduction to pivots in Python data frame. This concept is very similar to what we have done in any other SQL or even in Excel. We have this concept of pivots where we can rearrange the rows and columns in different way by which it makes business sense. Let's get started by importing pandas as PD. And I have a file with all financial data, and let me go ahead and import it and start reading that. And here I have a file which has the futures S&P 500, Dow Jones Industrial Average, and Nasdaq, and the price for the closing levels for different dates. And I also have the volume for those. And if you notice, in total we have 20 rows as it starts from index 0 all the way to 19. And I did this read CSV twice, and one time, the first time I did with a parse date, and then the second time, which is the one which is effective, I didn't parse the date. I intentionally did it because I wanted the date to be as a string instead of a timestamp. So now we have a data frame which is by name df itself. Now to do a pivot, what we have to do is go ahead and put in this code, which is dataframe.pivot, and I am saying the index is date. That means the one on the left hand side is going to be date. That's like my rows index. And one on the top, the column, is my futures, and the value is the one inside the body is going to be close and volume. So if you notice this, on the left hand side I have all the dates, on the top I have the future, and the data inside this is my data from the market close level and the volume of the trade. So this is pretty neat that I'm able to rearrange the data in a way we need it. So let's say we want to go to April 28th, and I want to know what was the Dow Jones level, what was the S&P level, and what was the Nasdaq level. All of them fall on the same row, and it makes my life easy to do all my analysis or to get to know the market level by just looking at one row. And same thing, if I want to know for a specific index, I want to see for different date, then I can look at one column and I can figure it out. So this is pretty user friendly, and this is just we say data frame dot pivot, and we pass the row as index, and column will be column, and whatever data you need you put in values. So if you have more data you need it, just put comma and you can feed all those here. But now let's go a step further. We want to do some aggregation, so we want to add them, or we want to do any other analysis. Then what do we do? So let's say I want to figure out how many of the datas are there, and if you notice here we have one data point for each of this. So this is a function called count. I can put a count function that is called a aggregate function. So now actually we are talking different method. This is pivot table and not pivot. So whenever you use any aggregate function, we have to use pivot table. When you just want to rearrange the data, you will use pivot. So now we are going for aggregate function. So we use pivot table, and in the pivot table my rows I want to keep futures, my columns I want to keep as date, and my aggregate function is count. That means I just want to count number of records of that. So let's say we are doing trading and Yahoo is traded 500 times and you count how many rows are there, it will give 500 because for that day, for that security, there are 500 records. But in our scenario, when we notice we have either 1 or NaN, NaN if there is no data and 1 if there is one record, this is just sum total all. Okay, and how does the all come here but not in the previous one? It's because we have added a parameter called margin equal to true. This is very helpful because sometime I like to see how many rows are there or how many data points are there. I can see that as well. It's like cumulative um, count. Now let's comment this one and let's execute this where I am doing the same thing. Instead of count here, I have everything else the same, just instead of count, I have mean. So if I execute this statement, it looks pretty much the same, but now I have the mean value for the close. And in this scenario, it will take the average across and it will give you the mean. So if you see here you have around 8,000, here you have 24. So this is average of 16. Same thing here. Let's say this one we have 7,000, 8,000 and 3,000 and average is around 6,000. So here we are doing a average aggregate function and I say margin equal to true. That means I want the cumulative value as well, and I have the future as my rows and date as my column. And this is pivot table, so I'm able to do aggregation. But still, this is not what we exactly want. We want something different. So what we can do is we don't want to go in so much of details that each and every day what's happening. So why don't we add all the days cumulative and pool them together? So for that, there is one more object called grouper. When you use a grouper, it's going to group it together. So here, if you notice, I have the pivot table. For rows, I'm using futures like before. But for column, I am not using a particular row or a particular column. I am using a grouper. And here I am saying for my column, I am going to use date and I am going to group them with a frequency of monthly. That means all information which falls on one particular date, I want to put them one particular month, I want to group them together, and the ones which are falling in a different month, I want to group them differently. So by this, what's going to happen is if the information falls in the month of March, we are going to pull them together. And May, we are going to pull them together. So that way we can see the average value for each month separate. So let's run this and have a look. So now if you see here, I have the value and I have close and volume is the values, and here I have my column which is the dates, and this is picking the last day of the month, April 30 and May 31st, and then again April 30 to May 31st for a different column which is volume and close, and the futures is Dow Jones, Nasdaq and S&P, and we are able to do this. And if you notice, I intentionally added this statement right before this because when you do this grouper on just a date, it's not going to work because it will not understand the string, and from a string it's not easy to find out which month it belongs to. So you have to convert the data frame date column to a timestamp, and then you save it in the same data frame. So basically, I am replacing the date string with date timestamp, and then I am executing this function, this method, pivot table, and I am passing the index, the column, and the values. And when I execute, I get this output. So this is perfect. So to recap the whole information, we read the file and then we used pivot, that was just to arrange the rows and column in the way we want. After that, we did pivot table. There we can use aggregate function, but it was not very helpful for us because our data was very clean. We have only one record for every combination, so it was not very helpful. So we wanted to group that further. So for that we use a grouper, and we group them by dates and all those kind of stuff, and we were able to achieve what we wanted. With this, we are done for this session, and I thank you for watching this video. And in future, if you want to read or discuss or like to know of any other topic, feel free to drop me a comment in this below, and I'll be happy to add a video on that. And if you like this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and press the bell button. Talk to you soon. Thank you and bye.